Give me 1 second, guys. If you are commenting, I apologize. I am trying to see the comments on my computer, and I completely forgot. Why can't I see my comments? One section. It's not letting me. Because okay, I see why. There we go. I couldn't see my comments, guys, because I am blind as a bat and I set my settings on my computer to triple in size. Just give me 1 second. All right, here we go. I'll use it 377. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so very, very much for being patient with me and just bearing with me. As most of you know, I am currently in college and it's kicking my ass big time, but it's well worth it. I've been extremely busy and I know that I usually do my lives every Friday on all of my platforms. However, I have midterms coming up. I have assignments that I have to do and it's just become so overwhelming. I did miss last night, so I am here today. So for anyone who's not usually used to being here on today's live, hey, if you're not here and you happen to catch it on a stream, that's perfectly fine. I know I'm the one with the crazy schedule, but I still thank you guys for being here, and I still thank you guys for joining and just showing your support. Oh, Shishi? Shai Shai, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. I apologize. Thank you so much for that, sweetheart. Hi, Alma. I've missed you guys too. I really miss being here every week, guys. But I want you guys to know that my not being here consistently does not mean that I've forgotten about any of you. I have not forgotten about anyone. I have not forgotten about these platforms. I've just been so busy with school, and I have school 5 days a week. I work 5 days a week. It's tiring, it's hectic, but it's worth it because for those who are new and don't know, I am in college because I'm looking to pursue my degree in psychotherapy. I've decided to not only utilize my experiences throughout my life to help other people, but also to help other people overcome codependency, which is something I've also done. I have overcome codependency. I have managed to maneuver through my trauma, and I'm simply here to just help people. So, just to let it be known, number one, I am not a professional, not yet, okay? I'm not even here to tell anyone what they've dealt with, who they've dealt with, meaning that I'm not here to diagnose anyone. Even if I was a professional, I could not diagnose anyone, okay? Because you need to have permission to evaluate people. And in this case, let's just say it's not there yet. It's really not there yet. But I am currently in pursuit of my degree in psychotherapy. I'm in pursuit of trying to help change the mental health system the best way I possibly can. And again, to help people get through the motions. Okay. There are a lot of people who are going through it. I know a lot of you are going through the motions of narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, and just any form of trauma. I know it is a rough process. It is so hard, but you can overcome it. If I can overcome codependency, and I've been 4 years already, 4 years since I've overcome codependency, and I'm just getting better and better and better at it over time. You guys got this, okay? Are narcissists born this way? That's a very good question. You know, there are theories when it comes to psychology. A lot of it, a lot of what's being studied is based on theory and, of course, observation. Are they born this way? Narcissism is a distorted way of thinking. Okay. So it's pretty much, we have to couple a lot of things, a lot of factors play in this. Okay. mental illness, one, okay, if the family has a history of mental illness. Two, environment. Environment plays a very big role. Are they born this way? No, but they are formed to be this way. And mental illness in the family does heighten narcissistic personality disorder and the chance of actually having it. Now, the reason we can, again, psychology is theory, guys. So just keep in mind that even though we have a lot of great psychologists and psychiatrists, and they come with, all of these different thoughts and opinions, because a lot of this in psychology is based on studies. They study human behavior. They study people. Everything is studies. And when you study someone, you are making points about that person. So you're making, you're taking notes as to with regards to their behaviors. Are they born this way? No, it's just they have been severely projected on. They have been severely projected on. And if you really want to think about it, because you're not born a codependent child, you're not born a narcissistic child, but you are form fitted to be in that type of position. So you are trained, kind of like a training. You're trained to be empathetic. You're trained. And by being empathetic, guys, you can either have full empathy and have a narcissistic parent, or you can have full empathy and have a fully secured parent, which is a parent who is very empathetic, very nurturing, very caring, very loving. Okay. But this is and this is my opinion. I mean, again, I've been doing a lot of research, and this is what it pretty much boils down to. These people are trained to be this way because they're in survival mode. Okay. These are people who have been projected onto, who have been abused, who have been neglected, who have been manipulated, who have been, everything that you have gone through, they have gone through it with the very people that were supposed to be taking care of them. The reason they put their needs ahead of yours is simply this. It's all a survival mechanism. Now, I don't make excuses for people and their behaviors, because that would basically, be the opposite of holding them accountable. But I will say this. They didn't ask to be this way. Okay? They did not ask to be this way. They didn't ask to have, just like you didn't ask to have all of this trauma projected onto you, all of the heartache, all of the lies, the manipulation, the confusion. You didn't ask for any of this. They did not ask for it. Now, what makes them, because you know what they say, an abuser was once a victim. But notice the key word, was, because you can be a victim of abuse and not inflict that same abuse onto other people. Okay? They were once a victim, but they revoked that victim card the minute they decided to start becoming abusive towards other people. So at the end of the day, that's what makes them different from us. Guys, we've been through a hell of a abuse, right? A lot of you, I'm sure, have gone through narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse. You have been through the ringer, to and fro. And guess what? You still have a heart. Like, you're still in that position to want to love like you've never been hurt before. Keep in mind, guys, that's what makes you different from them. Okay? You go from victimhood to survivorship. You don't stay in victim mode. We never stay in victim mode. We go from victimhood to survivorship. So when the time comes, you'll know when you are no longer a victim, but now, in fact, a survivor. And you keep going, and you keep striving, and continue to walk in that survivorship and continue to help others. Because once you're done, guys, technically you're not done. There are so many more people who are going through what you've gone through, and they need help. They need help. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Logic. How are you? Hope you're having a great Saturday evening. Oh, spiritual. You know what's funny? I was thinking the same thing when I was looking in the mirror, because I said, let me fix myself up a little bit. I didn't want you guys seeing me how I looked when I sit in my corner and I study. I was like, no, I can't have them see me look all crazy. And that's exactly what I did. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, yep, I'm giving that Morticia vibes look. But it's all right. It's all good. I like Morticia. I like Morticia Adams. Give me one second. I want to make sure I don't forget anyone. Yes, Mr. Dave, hurt people do hurt people. You do have hurt people, people who, and this is why I say, guys, I'm not here to tell you what you've experienced. I'm not here to tell you what you've gone through. I'm not even here to tell you that you're dealing with a narcissist. My platforms are here to give information. Okay. If you resonate with the information that I provide based on what narcissists do, you resonate fully with it. Okay. What the platforms are intended to do is to help you maneuver, help you try to, get out of that situation. I'm not here to enable. Let me make that perfectly clear. I'm not here to enable anyone. I'm not here to say, hey, well, here are a few ideas on how to get your narcissistic ex back, or how to get your manipulative ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend back, or, how to, no, I'm not here to do any of that. I'm here to help people to understand what they've experienced, get out of that cloud, get out of that fog, and move forward. And I know it seems hard, guys, because I know a lot of you were invested. I know that a lot of you weren't invested. And as much as you were invested, you look at it because you have a certain kind of fear. Trauma bond gives you fear. It does put that fear in you. The fear of the unknown, the fear of what will happen if you do walk away, the fear of, will I ever, find someone like this person? Believe it or not, that's actually what it implants in your head. Will I find someone better than this person because they discarded me for someone else, because they told me that I'm the problem? I'm the reason why they're sleeping with someone else. I'm the reason why they moved on with someone else. And that's all bullshit that's been implanted in your mind. That is all nonsense. And you sit there wondering, what could I have done to be better, to do better? What could I have done to keep this person in my life? And the fact of the matter is that God did you one big favor by removing that person from your life. I'm not saying they were born evil or born with these tendencies. What I'm saying is they know their behaviors. They know their behaviors. They know what they're doing. They know the effect that it's having on you, simply because if someone goes and grabs a baseball bat, right? And they hit you, let's just say, God forbid, they go and they hit you, on the side or something, it's painful. That would be painful. What would be your instant reaction? Ow, why would you do that? That hurts. Or, some people would end up crying. That's typically what the behaviors of a narcissist is. It hits you, you react towards it like, what the hell is going on? Or, it's emotionally tearing you down. And they're sitting there watching you as you're going through it. They're watching you and they're looking at you like, really? Really though? Like, I didn't even hit you that hard. Really? When the reality of it is that they're trying to flip it onto you. You're oversensitive. Oh, you're over dramatic. You don't know how to handle things. You don't know how to take a joke. You don't know how to take criticism. You don't know how to take pain. You don't know how to do any, you don't know how to take my disrespect. You don't know how to take my disrespect and just eat it. They know their behaviors and they know the effect that it's having on you. And I'm here to help remind you that you were someone stronger than you ever thought you were. You were someone before you got into this. You were more confident. You were more of a happy-go-lucky kind of person. You were very empathetic. You just wanted to love and have someone love you just the same. You were all of these things. After dealing with someone who's emotionally draining, emotionally and psychologically manipulative, after dealing with all of this, you are a totally different person. You are a totally different person. You don't trust love. You don't trust people. You don't want to be around anyone. Just the thought of being with someone, the thought of someone touching you, the thought of someone actually just being around you makes you sick. I don't know about you, but it did it to me for a while. It made me so repulsed that I was just like, I don't want anything to do with love. I don't want anything to do with anyone. I give and I give and I give and I give and I give. And all I get in return is all of the bullshit from people who have either gone through something traumatic in their life, who have, gone through all types of things. This is why you see a lot of videos on social media. You see a lot of people talking about mommy issues and daddy issues and, traumatic childhood and things to that effect. When you're dealing with people who have not resolved their trauma, you are going to get the backlash of it. You're going to become their emotional punching bag, and you are going to sit there and be left in the dark like a piece of nothing while they move on to the next one, because love for them does not exist. Love for them is non-existent. It is not believable. This is love. This is love for me. Getting what I can out of the relationship, getting the benefits of the relationship. And then when I'm tired and when I'm bored and I don't want anything to do with this anymore because it's just not exciting me anymore, I can go ahead and move on to the next one. I can go ahead. That's what love is for them. And I want people to stop sitting there thinking to themselves, well, what could I have done? I mean, I could have loved this person if they would have given it a chance. The fact of the matter is, I say this all the time because it is true. You cannot get love from someone who is emotionally incapable. You can't get it from them. They will not give it to you. So the fact that they're emotionally stunted, the fact that they cannot regulate your emotions, and the fact that they manage to put a mask on and pretend to be this person that you always wanted is proof in itself that they are aware. They are aware of what they are doing. They are aware of the pain that they have inflicted onto other people. And just a little FYI, if they ever came to you and told you, well, all my exes were mean to me, they were manipulative, they were abusive, they were this, they were that, you better pay attention to their stories. Pay attention to people's stories, okay? Because anyone who gives you a story who does not take any accountability for any of their own actions is a liar. Straight up, is a liar. Hi, Ken. How are you, hon? Long time no speak. Hi, Keith. I'm witnessing this in my daughter. I need help. She is a victim. Unfortunately, when you are witnessing someone else becoming a victim of narcissistic abuse, when they're in a traumatic bond, it's very, very difficult to get them to see the truth. It's very difficult to get them to understand what they are actually enduring in that relationship. And reason being, they're so immersed in that relationship and they are fully attached to that person that you can go to your daughter and say, look at everything that this person is doing to you. And your daughter can see it for a split second. And she could be like, yeah, mom, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm going to go have a conversation with him and and I'm going to probably end up having to come back home because we're going to break up. Cool. That person could have cheated on her. That person could have lied to her. That person could have done anything to her. The minute she gets there to confront this manipulative person, the minute she gets there to say, you know what, you did this to me and that to me, I guarantee you by the end of the night, she's going to call you back and say, mom, you know something? We worked everything out. And the reason that's going to happen is because that person is going to flip everything onto her. He's going to gaslight her. And the one thing that manipulators love most, especially narcissistic people, is they love to erode their partner's confidence. So if the narcissistic person cheated on that person and they went out there and they were cheating with other women or they were doing it, chances are when the partner is like, well, why would you cheat on me? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Because they're going to deflect. Well, because you're never there. Because you don't do the things that these girls want to do or these guys want to do. Because you let yourself go. It always starts with it's the partner's problem. It always starts with it's the partner's fault that they did what they did. Any conversation where you want to have them take accountability will not happen. Well, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have gone out of the relationship if you had been the way you were with me in the beginning of the relationship. Everybody knows, listen, you get tired of a relationship. If it's no longer working for you, you basically do what you have to do to get a clean cut, get a clean break, and then move on. If that person just so happens to move on, or even you, if you find yourself communicating with other people or interacting with other people within your relationship and you're seeing that there are just things that are no longer compatible for you in your relationship, do a clean break before you decide to go out there and start to mess with anyone else. That's common courtesy. But for a narcissistic person, because they have a level of codependency and they rely on the validation of other people to, and it's interesting that a lot of us who have dealt with these kinds of people didn't really understand that you had more power in your hands than you realize. You really did. Because think about it. Go back to a point in time of your relationship where you said something that may have seemed a little critical, but it wasn't intended to hurt them. You may have said something that they felt was, a criticism, and they felt completely offended by it. Maybe they gave you the silent treatment. Maybe they felt some kind of way about something that you said and you didn't mean anything by it. And if you're anything like me, if I say something, it came out, if you interpret it in a certain way, I'm one who, let's sit down and talk about it. They're very passive aggressive. So they may not sit down and talk about it. What they're going to end up doing is, well, that's the way he or she wants to talk to me. That's the way he or she feels about me. Bet, you know something? You just slighted them. You just slighted them. And because you don't share the same opinion as them, or you don't agree with them on something, what will end up happening is they're going to look at you like, oh, so you're an enemy. You're an enemy. You don't agree with me. You don't agree with the things I do. You don't agree with what I say. So now you're an enemy. And because you're an enemy, guess what? Now I'm going to go out there and do something to hurt you. And you're sitting there like, what the hell just happened here? Where did you get all of this from that? Now, what does not seem logical to you, which I'm pretty sure it's very illogical, guys. It's extremely illogical. What does not seem logical to you is logical to them. What is logical to you, much like the rest of us, is illogical to them. They're very opposite. They're very contradicting. They're very about, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you are wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're saying. And if you try to challenge me, if you try to go against me, you will lose. Even if you're right, I will make sure that you lose. That's their mentality. I was discarded like I was nothing. And I was so in love with this man. Unfortunately, when it comes to a partnership, being with someone who is of narcissistic nature or antisocial personality disorder, when you're with someone who is like this, you are dealing with someone who is only about their needs. You were invested. You were invested. You put your heart on the line. You probably were nurturing towards this person. You were probably providing on a scale that probably most people, especially people of today's generation, like they're very one-sided. You were probably doing these things, and this person was probably eating it up. They were probably eating it up and just taking it in. And what a lot of people don't realize is that these people walk with entitlement, okay? A sense of entitlement. And I really believe that entitlement comes from the fact that they're able to get away with things. And the reason they're able to get away with things is because people who become victims of narcissistic abuse are too ashamed. After everything is said and done, they're too ashamed to come forward and speak up about it because they feel humiliated. They feel betrayed. They feel just so ashamed that they just want to lock themselves up. And because most people do not discuss it, a lot of them get away with it. So each and every time they go through relationships, they manage to abuse people, they manage to hurt them and discard them, and they move on to the next one. That entitlement goes fully on that pedestal with them. Not to mention, this is where accountability comes in. What we enable. Yes. When we're in a relationship with someone who is narcissistic, who is very selfish, very self-serving, and we don't speak up about it, or we don't stand up to them, or we don't say, listen, you're not treating me with respect, and this just isn't, when we just continue to allow things to happen in the relationship, thinking that eventually it's going to change. Let me just hold on a little bit longer. It will change. This person will go back to the way they were when I met them. Let me just Let me just give it a little bit more. They're going to change. I know any minute now, a year goes by, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they don't change. It's simply because you're enabling, allowed them to get away with all of that and waste all of your time. And I'm not here to push blame on anyone. I'm not blaming anyone, but we have to also take accountability for what we allow in relationships. And with the enabling comes the entitlement. They feel entitled because we allowed it. So when you do decide to stand up for yourself and you decide to say, oh, wait a minute, hold up. Let me sit back for a second and let me look at this, because none of this math is mathing for me. What is going on here? They give you the audacity look. How dare you? How dare you stand up to me? How dare you call me out on my shit? How dare you point out the wrongs that I have done when you let me get away with all of this stuff throughout all this time? And they feel justified in doing that. I know a lot of you were in love. I know a lot of you were invested. And the point, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help people understand the patterns. I'm here to help people understand the behaviors. I'm here to help people understand some of the things they say, some of the scenarios of the things that they would do, because every narcissistic person, every narcissist, yes, their patterns and their behaviors are pervasive, but sometimes, even though most may feel, oh, well, they're so predictable, you cannot generalize, you cannot compartmentalize a narcissistic person. You just can't do it, because with more awareness, people becoming more and more aware, they're trying to find ways to become more and more deceptive. So my point of it is, don't fall asleep on it. People can say, oh, well, narcissists love bomb. They all love to love bomb you. Not all of them do. Not all of them love bomb. You have to configure, what type of person am I dealing with? Am I dealing with a covert narcissist, right? Am I dealing with an overt? Coverts are the ones that are behind the scenes. Overts are the ones that are very flamboyant. They're out in the open and they don't care what anyone thinks or feels. That's just who they are. You have different types. You have the, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought for a second. The vulnerable, I'm sorry, guys. You have the vulnerable types, and then you have the invulnerable types. The vulnerable types are the closet narcissists. Those are the ones that they won't be so outgoing and so, so egotistical and so, yeah, everybody looks at me and, everybody wants me and I'm just so, grandiose and I'm exuding all this confidence. No, vulnerable types of narcissists are the most toxic ones, because they do everything in reverse. So how they do it, they don't put themselves on the pedestal. They put it for you to put them on the pedestal. Grandiose narcissists are the kind of narcissists that come in on their fake pedestal. They come in on that fake ass, like you're just looking at it like, wow. And you see the attention they get from people. You see the different harems that they have. You see all of that. So if or when they give you the time of day, you feel special. Oh my gosh, this person has so many people who wants them, but they chose me. The vulnerable types are the ones that have very low self-esteem, and they literally put themselves down. They put themselves down. So you will bring them up. So you will feed their ego and give them the confidence that they lack. And in dealing with all of this, you're doing all of this work. You're doing all of this, this loving and this nurturing behavior, and you are being genuine as you possibly can. They give it to you in the beginning because they're mirroring your behaviors. They're mirroring the things that you do, the things that you say. Okay. They take on your personality because you love people the way you want to be loved. Think about it. You love people the way you would want to be loved. And when you have someone who is incapable of emotionally connecting with someone, incapable of sustaining relationships with people in general, not just romantic relationships, but incapable of sustaining certain types of relationships. What are they going to do if they want something? They're going to pose as someone that they're not. In this case, it's you. What better way than to determine how you want to be loved than watching the way you love, right? So if I wanted, let's just say I'm a manipulator and I wanted to determine how you wanted to be loved, I'm going to watch you. I'm going to look at the things that you do. I'm going to look at, listen to the things that you say. And yeah, I may not say it word for word. I may not do it action for action, but has anyone ever heard of paraphrasing? They can paraphrase. They could paraphrase the things you say where it sounds so good that you don't even realize that you were the first one who said it. They can do things, create, a big occasion and do all types of things. And it's similar to the things that you would do, but you don't even realize it because you're looking at it like, oh my gosh, this person is my soulmate. We're kindred spirits. We're meant to be together. This is my person. The reality of it is, guys, they were mirroring you. Any advice for being in a relationship with a narc that uses their parents' sickness as an excuse? Well, if you're dealing with someone who uses, listen, if you're dealing, first of all, if you're dealing with a narcissistic person and it comes from somewhere. It comes from somewhere. I often point towards the parents or whoever their caregivers were. Okay. Because narcissism, first of all, let me make one thing clear in case anyone's new and they don't know. Narcissism is a spectrum, and we all land on that spectrum. We are all on that spectrum, guys. Okay. We all have traits of narcissism within us. We all do, even myself. Okay. Those who suffer narcissistic personality disorder or have extreme narcissistic traits are on the irregular side of the spectrum. Okay. And these are people who have undergone trauma, have been, neglected as children, and has been pushed into this cave to create this shell and create this survival mechanism. And this is just all they know. But often I look in the direction of the parents, I look in the direction of the upbringing, because it usually starts at a very young age. And usually because you have codependent narcissists, okay? These are, narcissists who are very codependent on the main person who has the narcissistic traits in their life. So if one of his parents or both of his parents, because yes, two narcissists can be in a marriage, can be, be together. If they suffer the same tendencies, because remember, this is learned behavior. This is not just something you wake up one day and then it's like, oh, this person just became a narcissist. No, that doesn't work that way. But it's usually learned behavior. So I look back at the parents. Now, if this person has parents that exude those same types of behaviors, 9 out of 10 times, it's that codependency trauma bond. Narcissists can be traumatically bonded to their narcissistic parents. They can. That's usually where it starts. Okay? You have codependent narcissists. You have codependents who are narcissistic. So we have to also be very careful with how we label things. That's why I say don't worry about the labels too much. But you do have people who are codependent and narcissistic, and they are codependently attached to their parents, where they feel like their parents are their obligation because their parents have made themselves their obligation. So if he's dealing with his parents, and he's not setting up boundaries, because with parents, I don't know if there are other siblings. Usually when it comes to taking care of our parents, if we have siblings, it's a job that we all should be doing together, because especially if we have children or if we have our own lives, we should all partake in taking care of our parents. But if he does have other siblings and the parents are only relying on him to where he, he continues to run back at every snap of the finger or every little whim, it's always just him doing it, more than likely there is that codependency. There is a codependent bond between him and his parents. And the sickness in itself, because narcissistic parents, especially as they get older, they do things to prolong their sicknesses. They do things to, prevent their children, that they're using as tools to prevent their children from actually moving forward, actually having autonomy and having their own lives. So what better way than to have my child be under my thumb completely than to make myself my child's responsibility? But at the end of the day, I get it, because, you have people who are codependent and just have narcissistic traits, and they are very codependent on, there's that level of codependency that, it could be the mom. Usually it's the moms. It's usually the moms who have like that codependent bond with their children as opposed to the dads, because the dads, narcissistic fathers, are more about, they're more about showing off and really about being outside of the family. You know what I'm saying? They're more about like having their own life outside of their family. The narcissistic mothers are more about stifling their children and keeping them like, keeping them under their thumb. And it's like a husband son type of relationship. It's really weird, and it's just nah, not my cup of tea. Hi Nessa, how are you, sweetheart? And it's his mom, right? Yeah, see? It's usually the mothers. When it comes to the sons, it's like that mother, it's that mother husband, that mother wife. It's just like, is that your mom or is that your wife? And at the end of the day, I'm not saying don't take care of your parents, because obviously, your parents take care of you. Yeah, but when you have parents that are just emotionally draining, and they are, they're manipulative. You have parents that are like that. They're extremely manipulative. I mean, to each their own. Me personally, I just couldn't see myself putting myself in a position to be around a parent who insists on becoming problematic for me. And mind you, I didn't do anything to warrant that. I just couldn't. Hi, Stella. Hi, sweetheart. Okay, hold me 1 second, guys. I apologize. I want to make sure I don't forget anyone, because I have like all these platforms streaming. How can I be sure the next person is not a narcissist? She played her role so good, I wanted to marry her. I cannot trust no one anymore. You can never be too sure if someone is a narcissist or not. Okay? It's kind of like joining the military, right? You're unprepared. You don't know anything about the military or what it is you will be facing if you get deployed. So what do? You go through training, right? We go through training. You get trained to be prepared for certain things. You get trained on how to diffuse certain situations. You get trained to complete tasks and do all of these things. I mean, listen, should I compare relationship to the military? No, but then again, a lot of us have been in relationships with people who are very controlling and very demanding. Um, but you have to mentally prepare yourself. You have to emotionally prepare yourself. And in this case, you just have to be on the lookout. You just got to use discernment. A lot of the problems that a lot of us had, and I can tell you what I had. The problem that I had was my codependency allowed me to get attached to someone just at the very thought of the interest, that they were interested in me, that they were flattering me, that they were validating my feelings, and they were giving me compliments. And it made me feel really good because I always had low self-esteem. So, when you're coming from a codependent background and you have very low self-esteem, when someone is feeding you compliments and making you feel good, yeah. I mean, over time, you do tend to get attached, probably more than you actually should. But in this case, because, listen, you've been there, you've done it, you've seen it, you've heard it. Now, this would be your official test, because the world is filled with people like this. I can't tell you, the minute you walk outside your door, you go to a bus stop and some, gorgeous guy or some beautiful woman approaches you, that's not going to be a narcissistic person. But you got to take what you've learned. You got to take what you've been learning and apply it to yourself. You know, if someone tells you something that you feel isn't right, don't be afraid to speak up. When you find yourself afraid to speak up, you become passive aggressive. When you become passive aggressive, you are simply pushing your feelings aside just to let this person who has said something or done something that you don't really approve of. It's not, it's not demanding or controlling if you are standing up for yourself or if you have certain beliefs and it just doesn't. I think a lot of people, what they end up doing is because you have people who are so afraid of being alone that they will push aside what their beliefs and their thoughts are and entertain the notion of being with somebody who can be, be a little too abrasive, can be a little too, a little disrespectful. And, no, that shit stops now. You have to now start looking at things in a third person, not even in yourself, in a third person, and start seeing what am I willing to put up with, what am I not willing to put up with, what will I take, what will I not take. I'm not saying you have to go head on and meet someone and say, this is what I want, this is how it is, this is what I went through, and if you don't like it, you can freaking get up and leave. No, because then you end up scaring people away that way too. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is pay attention to certain things. Always bring your boundaries with you, no matter where you go. Boundaries are there for a reason. It protects you. It protects you. And if that person had genuine feelings and they were being completely genuine, they would also be coming into this relationship with you with their own boundaries. So now they have their boundaries and you have yours. And neither of you should feel offended that the other has boundaries. So if that person is trying to tiptoe over your boundaries, don't be afraid to remind them, what are you doing? What's going on here? Yeah, these boundaries are here for a reason. Now, if they start to bitch and complain to you, oh, well, I figure because we've been together all this time, we could have been together 20, 30, 40 years. It doesn't matter. You start to step over my boundaries, that means that you're comfortable with disrespecting me. And when someone becomes comfortable with disrespecting you, then Lord knows what else they're going to be comfortable with doing. Take your time. Remember what you've learned. What do I say, guys? It's not about you trusting the other person. It's about you trusting yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that you're going to make the right choices. First of all, let's go back. Trust that you're ready. If you are ready, that you're going to make the right choices, that you have sat and you have learned. Now you know what to do. I'm not saying be paranoid, although people who suffer trauma can become very extremely paranoid. I'm not saying that. Don't sit outside their job, wondering if this is going on and that's going on. That's paranoia. You don't want to do that because you could end up pushing someone away. Trust that the truth always comes to light no matter what. And as long as your boundaries are in place, you go into a relationship a whole person, you come out of a relationship a whole person. Okay? That is the key thing. That's what you have to remember. Don't go into a relationship and start dividing yourself up for someone else and they're not even reciprocating the same to you. Don't do that. Okay? Do not give more than what they're giving to you. If they're only putting in 10%, cool. I'm going to put in 10%. If they put 20, then you put 20. Don't have them put 30% and you over here putting 75%. That tips the scale over. Don't do that. Don't do that because people take advantage. They can come to you all nice and sweet and oh, I'm as sweet as American pie. And the next thing you know, you bite into it and there's a bunch of worms. No, don't do that. Give me 1 second, guys. My mom tries to tell me how to parent, but undermines my ability as a parent. Never could be good enough. And you know what? Mothers who do that, and this is my strong opinion, mothers who undermine their children's parenting, they do that because often let's call a spade a spade. They fail their own kids. They fail their own kids, and they know that. They know it, and it's because of that they try to, they try to hold on, like continue to try to hold on to control. I, you know, I didn't have my child at a very young age. I was 24 years old. So I was a very decent age, and I went through a lot when it came to my kid. But in the end, no one could ever tell me that I didn't do what was necessary to protect and take care of my child. When you have parents that sit there and try to tell you, oh, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong, and it should be like this and it should be like that. Listen, if you constantly dealt with your parents micromanaging you, undermining you, constantly criticizing you, constantly trying to mold you to be something that you're not, whatever they tell you to do, just do the complete opposite. That's the best advice I can give. Whatever they tell you to do the complete opposite. Because it's just, when you come to realize, yo, you really screwed my head up as a kid, you really screwed my head up as an adult, got me feeling like I am not enough, like nothing I do is enough. That's where you got to break the cycle. You got to break the curse and be like, I am not going to project onto my child the things that you projected onto me. I'm going to change things up, and I'm going to show my child that they're always going to be good enough. I'm going to show them that no matter what, I'm always going to be there for them. I'm always going to, they need someone to talk to. That's the problem with a lot of today's youth, especially those that are in gangs and those that are getting, just getting arrested and just not dropping out of school. Doing, the problem is that, either there's abandonment somewhere in there, or they have parents that make them feel like they're nothing. So what do? They go out. They go out there in the world, and they go seek people to fulfill them. That's the whole point of kids joining gangs. They join gangs because the gangs make them feel wanted. They make them feel like family. They make them feel like, yo, we're loyal to you. But if you really, really look back at it and say, damn, it's all due to, certain types of upbringings where you got parents that just, their kids, they neglect their kids, or they make them feel like they're not wanted. What happens to children who try to survive with parents because their parents are their ways to survive? That's their way to survive. So when you have parents that are treating a child like, you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough, you're not going to be as good as me, nothing you say or do is pleasing for me, it's not satisfying for me, and it's hard to, reprogram a child's mind because they believe that. They sit there and believe that. But as an adult, I'm a firm believer, and everybody's different, but I'm a firm believer. Sometimes it could just take one person. Sometimes it could just take one person that comes into your life and shows you this is how you should be loved. You are appreciated. You are loved. You are kind. You are enough. Sometimes that's all it takes, but for the right person. Because as many of us have done this for people who are just so knee deep embedded in their selfish behaviors, we often martyr ourselves to cater to these people and show them you can be loved. I just want to love you. I just want to show you that, you are enough. They still use that against you, and they still hurt you, and they still end up, throwing you away like trash. It's sad. How would you say, can I be strong enough to not get hoovered? The best thing that I can say, and I say, use this with discretion, use discernment with it, and just be really, really mindful. Remind yourself of what you went through with the person. Remind yourself of what the person, I know a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to remember the hurt and the pain, but let's face facts. That doesn't go away. That does not go away. If you notice that they're reaching out to you, if you notice that they're making attempts, I don't know how many of you may have gotten the holiday, the Valentine's Day Hoover. I don't know if you did. I don't know if you did. But you have to remind yourself of why you are staying away from this person. You have to remind yourself what happened. And that shit sucks. It sucks big time. But it puts you in a position to wipe the tears and get a little bit angry. Because when you're crying and you're emotional, right? You're emotional, you're hurt. But when you remember, you kind of get angry. I did. I reminded myself every time I thought about reaching out to the person, every time I thought about, stopping by to see the person because, their house is on my way to work. Every time I thought about those things, I thought about breaking no contact. I thought about reaching out to see, just to see how you're doing. And I just, want to let you know and this and that. Every time I thought about it, I had to remind myself why I was staying away from this person. Because at that time, I knew that if I did break no contact, if I did go back on what I said, because remember, guys, once you say something, you better mean it and you better stick with it. If you tell them, I'm done, keep it moving, it's over, I'm going to heal and move on, you have to stick with that. Two reasons. One, because if you go back, they will hurt you and they will hurt you even more. It'll be harder, it'll be more painful, and it'll be more humiliating. And two, after everything you said and showing them that you have boundaries, with you showing them that you're willing to bend those boundaries and go back in that direction, lets them know their disrespect over your self-respect is more valuable. It's more valuable. And they will never take you seriously. They will never take you seriously. I know it's hard. No contact is very, very hard, guys. I know it's hard. I've been there. I know it's hard. I know staying away is very hard, but you have to do it. It's for your sanity. It's for your kids. It's for your well-being. It's for your mental health. Okay. I've been no contact and it broke my heart and it tore me up. And I went through the withdrawals. I went through it all. I went through all of it. I was throwing up. I was, I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't, I was just totally diminishing my health. Meantime, if you realize what's really going on with them while you're going through this, you step back and say, wait a minute, I'm going through all of this. I'm hurting. I'm alone. I'm just trying to wake up every day to get up to go to work, trying to eat a cracker just so I can eat something because I'm so depressed and because I'm just so beside myself. And meantime, what are they doing? They're with the next person, they're out partying, they're hanging out, they're drinking, they are, flirting, they're doing all of this like this shit meant nothing to them. Meantime, I'm over here struggling to eat a freaking cracker. Man, y'all better start waking up. Start waking up, guys, because I'm about to ring the alarm. Seriously. I'm about to ring the alarm. They do the no contact better than us while we sit and cry. So beat them. Thank you. Yes, Katie. Yes. And mind you, they do it so effortlessly. The no contact is so effortless because think about it. If you have someone who is so embedded in the attention that they're getting, they're living their life. They're at the height of the attention game, right? They're getting all the attention from all other people, even exes and people who probably never would have even given them a second thought, right? But after you were in the picture, you put them on the pedestal, you fed their ego, You boosted up their confidence. You did all of this to get them up there. And they left you down there in the dirt just by yourself. They're sitting there having the time of their life, and you are sitting there trying to force yourself to go to sleep, trying to, not have a panic attack. Like, that's how serious a trauma bond can be. You have panic attacks. You can have, I mean, I don't know if you guys have had it. So if you resonate with me, let me know. But I had the withdrawals. I had I wouldn't eat. By the time I used to work two jobs, I had to work 9 to 5 at one job and then 5 to midnight at the other job. And I wasn't able to fall asleep until like 4 or 5 in the morning. Mind you, I had to be up by 7 in the morning. I couldn't do anything. I literally could not find myself to do anything. I was so depressed. But to see that other person while you're going through this depression, that other person is sitting there living it up, hanging out, taking pictures, going out places, drinking. Yeah, I'm with, got people flirting with them online on social media. All of a sudden, people all over the woodworks are coming out. Like, wait a minute, where were all these people? My thing was with my situation was the ex coming back into the picture. I'm like, oh, okay, so she your friend now, huh? She your friend now, right? But meantime, they told you that their exes were all abusive and liars and cheaters and all of these things. But you go through your depression stage, you go through your obsession stage, you start looking through the social media, you start seeing things, and then, everything they ever told you, it seemed like a lie because their actions were contradicting everything they were telling you. And you can't help but sit there and just be so confused and like flabbergasted. Like, you are so shocked. And you're like, wait a minute, but how the hell is this even possible when you told me this? And you remind yourself of that when they decide to reach out to you. Hey, stranger. Hey, big head. Long time no speak. I just want to wish you a happy birthday. I just called to say, I'll be Stevie Wonder in this bitch. I'll be blind to all the bullshit. I would be blind to all of the bullshit. Like, nope, don't think so. Because once you get through it all, I'm going to tell you guys, once you get through it all, do you know how beautiful a strong, independent, confident, loving woman is? Like that energy that you exude, it is gorgeous. That energy is gorgeous. I've seen it on women. I have seen it on women. Okay. I walk past women and you could just feel it. You can tell a woman who is confident, a woman who is just in her own power, knowing that she's a good person and she deserves better. It's absolutely stunning. And I would never be ashamed to approach a woman and say, you are absolutely stunning. And the same goes for men. Men who have the confidence and the heart and the spirit, it just exudes from them. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. That is the one time that I will ever use binary, non-binary in a freaking sentence, because I'm not with the whole pronoun stuff, guys. I'm really not. No offense to anyone, but I'm just not. But that to me is the one time that I would look at it and I would say, that's the only time. The only time. It's absolutely amazing. And that's where I want to get you guys. That's where I want everybody to be. Okay, so we could be some gorgeous, stunning, handsome, sexy ass, confident people who have been through some shit, but guess what? We got through it. We got through it, and now we on to the next thing. And these people are going to be so caught up on trying to see what it is you got going on in your life. They're going to want to become part of it, but because you would no longer be on their level, they can't even get past security to get in. That's where I'm trying to get you guys. Yes, beauty. You're going to have this glow about you. It's going to glow brighter than a glow stick. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where I want to get you guys. I want to get you guys to that point where you can walk outside. You can walk outside your door, and you can walk outside your door and just say, I'm good. I am good. And I literally mean that. I'm good. I'm confident. I'm strong. You may have bent me, but you didn't break me. You guys are not broken. None of you are broken. Okay? You're slightly bent. You're slightly distorted, but you're not broken. The only one who has the power to break you is God Himself. Don't forget that. Do not forget that. And if God is not sitting here trying to break you, because God could have broken you a long time ago, God could have ended things a long time ago, but you're still here. You're still here. You are still here. That means you have purpose. Make that count. Make it count, guys. Thank you, Nessa. Thank you. And guys, I know that I'm studying. I know I've been, I have school going on. And if I'm not here on Fridays, I will be here on Saturdays. Okay. I'll make that promise to you. If I'm not here on Fridays, I will be here Saturdays for you guys. And I have my midterms coming up next week. So, but listen, anyone who's new to the channel, if you're following and you got a piece of, knowledge, love, comfort out of this live, I'm glad you did. If you are new to the channel and you are following, welcome to the family. Okay. You are part of this family now. And I want anyone to know that if you need help with anything, if you need to reach me, Narc Survival at narcsurvival101 at gmail.com. You can also sign up at the website, narcsurvival101.com. Sign up for the website anyway, but if you want to reach me directly, you can always email me. I try to get back as quickly as possible. If I'm unable to get back quickly, Amanda will get to you and she'll let me know. But I'm trying to push for this degree. So I've been studying. I've just got to study hard, because I want to become legit. I want to get my license. I want to change everything, man. I really do. I really do. And I want to help people get through it. It's not easy. No, it's not. It's not easy at all, but you can do it. I promise you, you can do it. Okay. I promise you that you can do it. And trust me, I don't make promises I can't keep. I don't. All right, guys. Well, my lovely people. Hi, Kareem. I'm so sorry, guys, because I'm on 3 different platforms. So if I did not get to answer your questions, or if I did not get to shout you out, I apologize for that. Anyone who sent me gifts, thank you so very much. It's always appreciated, but just know you being here is enough for me. Okay? You being here is enough for me. Anyone who's just now going through the motions and you need someone to talk to, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I don't charge for my time. I don't. Okay. I do one-on-ones. They will be coming back after my finals, after the semester's over. But in the meantime, if you do need, some information, or you just need someone to vent to talk to, I'm here for it. Okay. I am here for it. And again, thank you so very much for the gifts, guys. It's always appreciated. But like I said, just knowing that you guys are here with me in support of the channel, in support of helping other people, it just that just means so much more to me. And I thank you so much. I really, really do. Okay. I'm sure there were some undesirables that probably came in, but I'm sure Amanda took care of it, because when I get in the zone, I'm in the zone, guys. All right. So I got to get back to my studying. I have to get back to my assignments, guys. I will be back here next week. Again, narcsurvival101 at gmail.com. If you need to speak to me, send me an email. Shoot me an email. Don't worry about it. You can send me a message, but emails are perfect. Emails are better. So if you can email me, please do. And sign up for the website. I do blogs on there. I do update, if I have any updates, or when I start to do the one-on-ones again, it goes on the website. Sign up for it so you're notified. All right, guys? So my lovelies, my beautiful, strong, independent honey buns. I'm just so tired right now, guys. I really am. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your love, your well wishes. Thank you just for being who you are. And in case no one has told any of you, you are loved. You are enough. okay? And you're perfect just the way you are. Now it's just a matter of getting rid of that residual energy and getting into the arms of the ones who deserve you. And for those who choose to stay single and just explore their autonomy, hey, welcome, okay? Welcome, because it's always encouraged too. So, guys, thank you again so very much for being here tonight. Good night, Ken. Good night, Stella. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this helped anyone who's just going through the motions, who's just in the beginning stages of it. I know it's hard being alone in this, but trust me, you're not alone. You have ears, shoulders to lean on, ears to listen. We've all been through it, and sometimes you just need to continuously get it out until it's finally out. So I'm here if you need me. All right, guys. Thank you again, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. And until next week, love, peace, blessings, God's protection as always. Okay. Always got to ask for protection. And I will see you all next week. Love you all. Have a beautiful night, guys.